Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez just tried to normalize breaking the law, plain and simple.
You have members here that have submitted and mischaracterized closed-door hearings. So it is understandable why Hunter Biden would want to testify in front of the public.
During a heated House hearing, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez performed what looked like Olympic-level legal gymnastics, desperately arguing that Hunter Biden shouldn't face contempt charges even after defying a lawful subpoena. Her logic twisted and turned through every possible loophole, but Byron Donalds wasn't buying any of it. He cut through her arguments quickly and decisively, shutting them down and leaving no room for doubt.
He has the gall to come here, show up, and then when the Democrats are saying, hey, he wants to speak, he leaves. This is a joke. This is a farce. The man has been subpoenaed by Congress.
Today we're unpacking the whole exchange, not to back one party or the other, but to favor common sense and clear reasoning. If you value straight talk over spin, hit subscribe and stick around. We're about to get into the facts.
November of last year, the chairman issued a subpoena to Hunter Biden to appear on December 13th, for a closed-door deposition. Instead of respecting the rule of law, Hunter Biden chose to give a press conference on the front steps of the Senate. If you're a big-name Democrat, then you are immune to prosecution. Former Attorney General Eric Holder said as much in a memo he wrote regarding collateral consequences. For those who don't know, the collateral consequence policy allowed prosecutors to consider whether charging a company or individual will result in greater societal harm than not charging them. It is why Jeffrey Epstein's clients aren't behind bars. It is also the mindset of President Biden and his family. Too big to jail. Not too big to fail, too big to jail. The two-tier justice system is a disgrace to our country and the principles it was founded on.
Quick timeline for context. The hearing traces back to last January, but it's still relevant. On November 8th, 20123, Hunter Biden was subpoenaed by the House Oversight Committee as part of the impeachment inquiry. The subpoena required a closed-door deposition on December 13th. Instead, Hunter held a press conference outside the Capitol and insisted he would only testify publicly. His lawyers sent letters demanding a public forum. Predictably, the Oversight Committee saw that as non-compliance. With those facts in place, here's how Alexandria attempted to spin the episode.
Now, I may be one of the very few people that actually believes in Congress, in this country. But I do, and many of us do here. And we have an obligation to engage in good faith participation to execute and comply with the subpoena. The chairman said in front of the country several times to Hunter Biden, you can show up here in front of the world, in front of the public. Hunter Biden took him up on that offer. He said, I will show up in public. I will show up in public. He showed up here today. He showed up here in the past.
It's striking. Someone opens by praising congressional authority and then defends a witness blatantly ignoring its rules. By law, committees set the terms for witness appearances. There can be negotiation, yes, but the subpoena is the controlling legal instrument. TV appearances or off-camera opinions from chairmen don't change that. The subpoena, not spin, decides the format.
And Mr. Chairman, I know you do your best with what you've got. You've got members here that have submitted falsified evidence to the record. You have members here that have submitted and mischaracterized closed-door hearings, and people want to say back and forth at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what party it's happened from. So it is understandable why Hunter Biden would want to testify in front of the public for the American people to be able to witness that testimony for themselves.
In this case, the subpoena was explicit. A closed-door deposition. No ambiguity. Byron Donalds refused to let evasion slide and confronted the tactics head-on without hesitation. He reminded everyone that subpoenas are not invitations. They are legal obligations. Allowing a witness to simply choose their own format would completely undermine congressional authority. Donalds made it clear that bending the rules for one politically connected individual would set a dangerous precedent. His pushback underscored a simple truth. Compliance isn't optional, no matter who you are.
Look, let's be very clear. This isn't about Hunter Biden's white privilege. It's about Hunter Biden's Democrat privilege. because Donald Trump Jr. showed up for 5 congressional subpoenas. There was never this circus where he was subpoenaed by House Democrats and he showed up on the Senate side or showed up at the White House to answer in some fake, phony, lame press conference, not actually going to the House and doing what he was compelled by a subpoena to do. Hunter Biden did that. And then he has the unmitigated gall to show up here when we know that we're going through actually the legislation for contempt with, by the way, Mr. Chairman, we should actually get to the legislation of contempt. The speechifying is great, but let's do our business, members.
This isn't new territory. Look at Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon. Both invoked defenses but ultimately faced contempt when they refused congressional subpoenas. The precedent is clear. Refusal to comply can, and has, led to charges. Courts have consistently upheld Congress's authority to demand testimony, even in politically charged cases. Their imprisonment showed that ignoring a subpoena isn't a political debate. It's a legal violation with real consequences. Using privilege or public opinion as a shield didn't save Navarro or Bannon, and it wouldn't logically save Hunter either. That history is exactly why Republicans argue the law must be applied equally in this case.
He has the gall to come here, show up, and then when the Democrats are saying, hey, he wants to speak, he leaves. This is a joke. This is a farce. The man has been subpoenaed by Congress. Oh, and by the way, the January 6th committee, Mr. Raskin, which you did sit on, by the way, that was not a normally ordered committee of Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move forward with our business. He should be held in contempt. There was a subpoena. He did not answer it. Any other American will be held in contempt by Congress. Any other. This is Democrat privilege of the highest order. Let's do our job.
As Tim Burchett pointed out, failing to treat Hunter Biden the same way would only deepen the perception of a double standard. One set of rules for insiders, another for everyone else. Still, Jamie Raskin pressed on, raising abstract and philosophical questions to rationalize the dodge, trying to turn legal clarity into a debate about optics. His attempt to shift the conversation felt more like deflection than analysis. Instead of addressing the direct violation, he tried to paint the issue as a misunderstanding or political exaggeration. But the problem wasn't political interpretation, it was straightforward legal noncompliance. The more Raskin danced around the facts, the more obvious the contrast became. One side focused on law, the other on narrative.
I really hope that this committee will act in a way to negotiate and achieve a compromise with the witness. But if it goes to the court, it's going to present a novel question. What happens when a committee represented by its distinguished chairman goes out in public and repeatedly invites and challenges a witness to come before the committee, and then that witness gives the answer, yes, I will come in? At that point, the committee pulls a bait and switch and says, well, we actually don't want you to come before the full committee as was offered repeatedly in public by the chairman, but instead we'd like you to come to a back room and do it there in a closed deposition.
Negotiate what exactly? A pathway to excuse him from following the law. The subpoena was unambiguous. Despite the theatrics from AOC and Raskin, Hunter ultimately showed up behind closed doors because the contempt case was too solid to ignore. The bigger takeaway is this: politics today too often prioritizes image over law. Actions are measured by how they can be spun, not by whether they meet legal or ethical standards. Share your thoughts in the comments, hit like and subscribe if you found this useful, and keep thinking critically.